Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much, viewers, for viewing, for coming to my channel. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in each and every week when I post. On this channel, I do post content on social work and anything to do with practicing with children and families. I've been doing this now for the past 18 years, coming to 20 years actually, because I qualified in 2004. And I've had an advantage of working in 3 different countries, which I think I've got something to bring to the table when it comes to social work content. So some of the things I talk about here is from my experience from all those 3 different countries, but it's applicable as well to England, where I'm practicing at the moment. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. And I just want to put a disclaimer to say all the information I post on this channel, don't treat it as legal advice or don't treat it as coming from a guru. Remember, this is from my own practice and experience, and also from my own self-directed learning, as I've been doing this for a while now. In today's video, I'm just going to talk or give a few pointers to foster carers on how best they can prepare for a new placement. How best they can prepare for a new placement for a child coming into your care. As you know, if you look on my profile on LinkedIn, I've looked after children's team, I've worked in safeguarding, I've worked in assessment teams. So I've got a wide range of experience working with foster carers and working in a variety of teams, so that I can actually authoritatively talk about some of these things on this channel today. However, if you've got other views that you think would be pertinent or would have been included in this video, please put your comment in the comment section below, so that we keep the conversation going, because the purpose of these videos is to share information, but also to keep the conversation going about things that are happening. However, keep your comments as polite as possible, because remember, this is a public channel and other people also have a view, may have a different view. If your comments are not palatable, remember, they can be deleted. So let's move in straight into today's video. I said I'm going to be talking about how foster carers can best prepare for a new placement for a child coming into your placement or into your care. As you know, welcoming a child into your home through a fostering agents or through a local authority is quite meaningful. It's one of those life-changing experiences that you can ever do, life-changing to yourself, but also life-changing to the child that you're offering that opportunity. And as you embark on this journey, you need to be well prepared for being a foster carer, or well prepared for welcoming this child into your care. Some foster carers may be new carers, some may be seasoned carers, but remember, you always need to be prepared. Even though you've been doing it for 15 years, for 20 years, for 5 years, you always need to be prepared at each and every placement that is, starting, at any given point, really. So the points I'm going to be talking about here will enable you to have a smooth transition, to have a smooth welcome of this particular child into your care. And they're just a few essential tips, really. I'm not going to be exhaustive, but I think I would have covered as much as I can in this short video for you to actually navigate those early crucial days, really. So before accepting the placement, one thing you need to know is, when the placement team, or when your placement team within your fostering agents, or when the placement team within the local authority that you are fostering with sends you a profile, read that profile. I'm going to emphasize again, read that profile and scrutinize all the information in that profile. If you've got questions, that's the opportunity for you to be asking those questions. Because once you have accepted the placement, the onus is now on you to be making sure that that child is well taken care of. So when you receive a referral for a potential placement, take your time to assess whether it's the right fit for you and your family. Because remember, some people do foster because they have other children already in placement, or some people do foster because they've got other children who have left the nest and they just want to give back to the community and stuff like that. But remember, you need to be risk assessing yourself. There may be risk assessments done, but do your own risk assessment to see whether this is going to be a good fit for your family or a good fit for your household. Basically, you need to read that referral carefully to understand the child's background, to understand their needs and how those needs can be met, to understand the level of support which is already in place for that particular child, and to understand what are the other needs that you can identify from the get-go for that particular child, and whether you have got the support service available to you to support the needs of that child. Are you living local to a GP? Are you living local to specific, for example, domestic abuse, substance, abuse services for young people, where you can, refer this young person if there concerns to do with, substance abuse, for example. I'm just giving an example here. And if possible, please, like I said earlier on, ask relevant questions. Ask questions. Don't wait until the last minute, or don't assume information which is in the report is what it is, because you might decipher that information in other ways, but that information may be meant to mean something else. So if you've got questions, there's no silly question. That's the thing I can assure you. There's no silly question. So please ask questions, relevant questions that you think would be pertinent for you to make an informed decision about accepting that referral. Try to meet the child beforehand if it is possible, or if, depending with the age of the child. Remember, it's perfectly okay to decline a placement. Don't feel bad to say, oh, I've declined this placement. What's going to happen to this child? Because they will look for another placement. But if you feel you can offer this placement and you want to, give it a trial period, you can actually also tell, your supervising social worker or your fostering agents that I might want to give it a trial period for initially maybe 6 weeks and see how it goes, and then, offer a long term. It depends. If they are really desperate and they also want this child to be placed somewhere, they may actually be doing that. Because remember, some foster carers may be short-term placements, some may be long-term placements, but whether it's short-term or long-term placement, you always need to prepare for that placement. So that's key. If it doesn't feel right for you, it's be comfortable to say no to that referral as well. Feel comfortable to say no to that referral. And then point number 2 is, once you accept the placement, it's time to gather as much information as you can is possible about that child, their preferences, their needs, their interests, their hobbies, even their food preferences, preferences in terms of bedding, preferences in terms of bedroom, preferences in terms of air fresheners in your house, for example, all those kind of things. Preference in terms of, where they want to go and play and all those kind of things. So try to gather as much information as you can. You can actually request for what we call a pen picture for a child, which will give you a short synopsis of what this child, interests are, their hobbies, their food preferences, and all those kind of things. And make sure that you're able to provide those things when they come to your placement. So you can encourage the child to bring familiar items to their new rooms. If there are familiar toys, teddy bears, and stuff like that, which they can feel comfortable with, encourage them to bring those to your placement as well, to your home. And, this will provide significant comfort within this transition period. It will be quite important for you to be making sure that you give as much as you can to this particular child as they come to settle with you. Then point number 3 is about how you can set up your home. In terms of setting up your home, you need to organize this bedroom, make sure that it's clean, it's presentable, ensure the child's room is cozy, the heating is on, and it's ready for them to personalize if you feel they need to personalize. There are simple touches like favorite color, a night light, can make a big difference with the child. A side lamp can make a big difference. A table where they can read can make a big difference depending with the ages. A toys corner, it makes a big difference for them depending with the ages as well. Stock up on essentials like toothbrush, towels. It's just like any new family member coming to you, comes, with a need for some additional supplies. Make sure that we have those at hand. Towels, pens, and all those kind of things. Pajamas, if you know their age and their sizes, get those things well in advance so that you can actually have those things prepared for them actually coming. So we're talking about toilet, not only toiletries. We're talking about stocking up on food. What is their favorite cereal? Stock up that cereal. Their favorite milk, stock up that milk. Their favorite foods, stock up those foods. Favorite toys as well. If they can't bring them, with them, make sure that you have got relevant or enough toys for them or games to help them feel at home, whether it's PS4, PS5, whatever it is, or Xbox that you feel it might actually help them to actually feel at home. You need to be doing all that. Right. The other important thing is with regards to safety and risk assessment. This is something that you need to be doing to make sure that your home is child-proof. What do you do? There are what we call window limiters, which needs to be put in place. If the bedroom is upstairs, say on the first floor, for example, you need to make sure that it's child friendly. It's safe when it comes to heating. It needs to be covered. There are those steps that your supervising social worker will actually take you through in making sure that you are prepared when you are ready for this. If it's a younger child, make sure that there are stay gates, for example. I'm just giving an example here. But remember, lean on your supervising social worker who will be able to give you all those pointers in terms of how you can make your child, your home child-proof, basically. Remove any hazards, ensure all the medications, chemicals are out of reach. Remember, when you're alone, you can put your chemicals, your cleaning detergents in the sink down below, on the cupboard down below the sink. But when you've got a child, crawling and whatever, you may need to consider removing those, put them on a higher shelf or something like that to make sure that there are no hazards in your family home before you bring this child in. The next point I'm going to be talking about is talking about the first days count, really. You need to keep it simple. Remember, early days of the placement can make it quite overwhelming for you, but also overwhelming on the child or the children that you are accommodating. So keep it simple. Avoid overwhelming the child with lots of things from the first get-go. Introduce things slowly and slowly, try to make sure that, you give them information as and when it's required. If you give them too many rules, too many information in the first go, one, they will forget those things. Two, it can be overwhelming for them. Three, it may make them feel unwelcome. So you have to consider all those things as well. I'm not saying don't give them rules and regulations or don't give them information pertaining to what they'll be using on a daily basis, but make sure that you give that information as and when it's necessary, and don't make it too overwhelming on them. If it's too overwhelming on you, remember what it does to a child as well. Allow them to explore their new environment at their own pace. Don't, push them to say, you can go and, use the bath, allow them to actually do their own thing and get to know their own area, their own, home, which is going to be, their home now going forward. It means build a routine for them, making sure that, it provides them comfort and security, knowing that if they have a structured and routined life, it's actually easier for them to follow whatever they are required to be doing. Involve them in discussions, involve them in some of the decision making that needs to be done, involve them in coming up with daily schedules. It gives them, that peace of mind, knowing that I'm going to be here for tomorrow. If I'm planning for a holiday for next year, it means these people will like me to be here, up until that time. Something like that, rather than them to be, living on the go. Give them that assurance to say you are here to stay, Engage them in activities, play games with them, play fun activities together, child interest, explore their interests, help build a bond with them, create lasting memories, take photos, take pictures so that you can actually frame some of these things. They can actually hold them dear, facilitate contact and stuff like that, So it's important for you to be making sure that, you are on time when it comes to contact, or you are on time when it comes to their school, or you are on time when it comes to any other activities that they may be doing. Think about extracurricular activities that you can enroll them in, so that you can actually make sure that because if they were involved in swimming, for example, there's no point in you stopping those kind of things. Make sure that they can actually continue, so that there's less disturbances in their routine, there's less disturbances in their schedule, for example, really. Point number last, which is actually quite important, is for you to stay in touch with your child social worker, because remember, you are working with two social workers now. Once you have got a child in placement, you are working with the social worker allocated to the child, and you are also working with the social worker allocated to you, who is the supervising social worker. So you need to get in touch with these two people, and you need to make sure that the information you are giving to both of them, it's actually the same, because there's no point in giving the other one information which is contrary to what you are giving the other one, because remember, they do talk, they end up getting, to know that you're actually, playing them against each other. So this communication is quite key and quite crucial as well. Update each one of them about what's going on, and be participant in those meetings that they hold, be participant in those review meetings as well. Make sure that you have a good rapport even with the parents of the child when they have contact, because remember, you are taking care of somebody's child. So do it as much as you would have loved your own child to be taken care of by somebody else. So regular communication is quite important. It shows that everyone is on the same page regarding the child's needs, any change in their circumstances, for example. So you need to make sure that your communication is on point. So preparing for a new placement, it's quite challenging, but I think with these points, you will be able to better prepare, as a foster carer. And I hope you have found this information useful. And thank you so much for tuning. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. Thank you so much.